Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, as you guys probably know, Apple Rumors is a big part of this channel, and my goodness, we have a lot of rumors to go through for upcoming products that will be coming in 2021. There is some very cool stuff to talk about here, so let's go ahead and get started right away. So the last iPad Pros to come to market were actually released in March of this year. It feels crazy that March was this year. Like, it feels so long ago because of the whole pandemic and everything that's happened. But the iPad Pros were literally still released this year. But that's one of the first products that looks like it's going to get a refresh for 2021. So here it's saying that the iPad Pro 12.9 inch will likely come out in March or April time with a full mini LED display and 5G connectivity. Super excited for this one because that means an 11 inch is obviously on the way with it, either going to be released at the same time or shortly after. The 5G connectivity, not a big deal for someone like myself, but if you're like a real estate agent or someone that needs the iPad and needs to be able to travel around and still access the internet, this will be a pretty good feature for you. So that's the first product that looks like it's coming out in 2021. New iPad Pros, likely with the 14X chip as well. Next up is a redesigned 24 and 32 inch iMac. Now the actual size of the computer looks like it's going to stay pretty much the same. They're just going to make the bezels a bit smaller. So it's most likely going to look almost like an iPad Pro or the new iPad Air. Small bezels on the side, but it looks like they might be keeping that Apple logo at the very bottom, which I'm totally fine with. I think it looks pretty cool, but in my opinion, I would rather just have like a full iPad looking iMac. No Apple logo or anything, maybe on the back or whatever, but I think just having like a full display would look really, really good, but they'll probably keep the Apple logo on it, which isn't a big deal. And it's rumored to have an M1X or M2 chip inside. It should be a pretty substantial upgrade from the MacBook Air and MacBook Pro that was just released with the M1 chip. So that's product number 2. Product number 3 that is rumored to be coming out in March, April time looks like AirPods 3 and AirPods Pro 2. Now this I'm pretty excited for because the AirPods 3 looks really, really good. Shorter stems, and it kind of took a little bit of the design from the AirPods Pro. I'm sure it's going to sound better, battery life should be better, and so on. And the AirPods Pro 2 I am super excited for because I absolutely love the AirPods Pro 1, and just making minor improvements to that already should just make it a really, really good pair of headphones because the original was so good already. It looks like for the regular AirPods as well, they will be just going completely wireless, having that wireless charging case. Not like how they did it before with having like a regular AirPods where you plug it in with Lightning and then having a wireless edition and then having the Pros available. A little bit hard to understand, so I think it just makes sense, you know, just put a wireless charging case in the AirPods 3, wireless charging case with the AirPods Pro 2, and done. Now we are moving to September and October time, which is normally very, very busy with things such as the phone. And yes, you guessed right, there is another phone coming next year, and that would be the iPhone 13 lineup. Now it looks like they're going to keep the same kind of theme here, so having like a 13 mini, a 13, a 13 Pro, and a 13 Pro Max. Personally, I like having those different options because it just gives options to people, you know? You don't have to spend a lot if you don't really want to. You don't have to get a small phone if you don't want to. You just have the choice, and I'm a big fan of that. So it looks like the 13 mini will have a 5.4 inch OLED display, smaller notch, faster processor, improved cameras, and Wi-Fi 6E capability. Now the iPhone 13, basically all the same things, just the only difference is the display size, which is 6.1 inches. Then when you move up to the 13 Pro lineup, it looks like there's going to be a couple of changes, which is nice because when you buy the Pro model, like, you should be getting a couple things that the regular editions don't have. And the two big features that are rumored to be coming to the 13 Pro lineup is Touch ID and a 120Hz display, which sadly we didn't see with the 12 lineup this year, but it looks like they are going to bring it to the 13, which I think it's about time because I love the 120Hz refresh rate on the iPad Pro, and having it on a bigger phone like a 13 Pro Max will be awesome. So I'm super excited for that. I'm sure there's going to be camera differences as well between the regular 13 and the 13 Pro, just like we saw this year with the 12s. So I'm excited to see what changes with that too. And then the one other difference between the 13 Pro and Pro Max is display size. So it looks like the 13 Pro will have a 6.1 inch display and the Pro Max a 6.7, keeping the same dimensions as the 12 Pros from this year. Now the next product is the Apple Watch Series 7, which I like to upgrade my watch every year, so I'm super pumped to get this, especially because 7 is my favorite number. Not not really important in the grand scheme of things, but it looks like there's going to be a new design to the watch, which I'm assuming will mimic the new phones. Having those square sides, I think will look really, really nice on a watch. Looks like there might be Touch ID as well, which I'm assuming would be on the digital crown. I think it makes sense to just click it like that versus like touching, like this. I think it's just like an awkward movement. And then more health features is what it says in the article here. So I'm sure that means like new heart rate sensor, improved blood oxygen, and maybe a couple surprise features as well. So pretty excited for the Apple Watch Series 7. I think the big one for me is that Touch ID. I think that's going to be really, really nice. And then hopefully they add Face ID in the next few years or so. The next product is a 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro. Now it looks like they're taking the same displays that they are going to be using in the new iPad Pros and putting them in the MacBook Pro, which is pretty awesome. So they're supposedly going to use mini LED displays on the MacBook Pros, one step closer to OLED on the MacBooks as well, which is a really, really cool thing. I'm just going to be super excited when they move, officially to OLED on pretty much all of their devices. Slimmer bezels as well, so kind of mimicking the iPad Pro again, having those really thin edges on the sides, which I think just makes the computer look more aesthetically pleasing. And yes, when we first started talking about the MacBook Pros like 30 seconds ago, I did say a 14-inch model would be coming. So the computer itself doesn't look like it will be bigger. It's just the bezels will be smaller, which basically extends the screen and makes the actual display 14 inches. It won't be a huge difference by any means, just considering that the MacBook Pro that's available right now is a 13.3-inch display. So it's going to be a little bit bigger. Nothing crazy, but I am excited for a 14-inch model just because, having that little bit does make a difference sometimes. Inside of the MacBook Pros, it looks like the M1X or M2 chip will be inside, which makes sense. More powerful than the M1 that was released with the MacBook Air and 13-inch MacBook Pro this year. Now there's a few products that have unknown release dates, so we'll kind of talk about those quickly as well. So it looks like an iPad Mini 6 with an 8.5 to 9-inch mini LED display could be coming as well next year. A lot of people really like the iPad Mini. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the iPad Mini just because if I want to get an iPad, I want a significantly bigger display than my iPhone, which right now I have the 12 Pro Max, and yes, the Mini is bigger, but if I'm going to get an iPad, I want a much bigger display. So that's why I normally get the iPad Pro 11-inch or 12.9. It makes it feel like a different product, and the iPad Mini for myself just feels like a slightly bigger iPhone. And like I said, if I want to get an iPad, I want it to feel like a different product, like an iPad. That's just my take on it, but it looks like the next product is the iPad 9th edition. It looks like this iPad could have a 10.5-inch iPad Air 3 design with an A13 processor. I'm sure they're going to give it the slim bezel design, just like the iPad Air got this year. So that should be a pretty exciting product for a lot of people. The next rumored product is the iPhone SE Plus. So basically just a bigger version of the iPhone SE that we got this year. So how they did the SE was they basically took the look of the iPhone 8, took the processor from the iPhone 11, put it in there. And as you guys probably remember, the iPhone 8 had the 8 and the 8 Plus. So it looks like they are probably just going to take the body of the 8 Plus and probably give it the processor of the iPhone 12 and have it as a more budget-friendly phone as well, just probably a little bit more than the original SE because the phone's going to be bigger. I'm assuming they'll probably keep the home button too, just because if you're going to go with an SE, it's almost like a vintage throwback edition phone, so I think you have to have the home button on this kind of phone. The next item is Apple TV. Now this one hasn't been refreshed since 2017, believe it or not. I think I bought my Apple TV in 2017 when it was released. This was the 4K edition with the black remote, but it looks like the updated Apple TV is going to have a gaming focus, which makes sense because they just released Apple Arcade very recently. And instead of making a whole console, a full Apple console, they can just have Apple TV for arcade-based games and have the remote control more compatible with gaming, which I think will do really well because even myself, I've used a couple games on the Apple TV that I have currently from 2017. So if you can improve that and make it even better, more powerful, and more gaming friendly, imagine playing COD Mobile on your TV with an Apple TV remote. That would be pretty cool. And it also looks like there's going to be Find My support on the actual remote of the Apple TV now, which is kind of nice because sometimes, I'll let my family use the TV and then they'll misplace the remote, and then when I want to go watch some sports or something, I can't because I don't know where it is. So having Find My support is going to be pretty beneficial for a lot of people, even if the remote never leaves one specific room. The next product is AirTags. Now this thing has been rumored for a long time now. Don't get your hopes up. Literally every product launch, everyone's like, oh, AirTags, it's finally coming out. And then it doesn't. So it's probably going to be the same thing. You know, the whole 2021 year, we're all going to be talking about AirTags. Oh, it's coming out next month. And that's just not going to happen. And we're all going to be disappointed again. But it could happen. You never know. Now, if you guys don't know what AirTags are, it's basically like Tile. Now, what they do is they basically help you track down your devices. And there's going to be AR functionality as well. So you can like walk around with your phone if you lost like your Apple TV remote, for example. And then when you find it, there's like balloons that pop up on the screen. Congratulations, you found your remote. I think the AirTags will do pretty well. Like personally, I'll probably just buy them to review them and everything, but I don't think I'll really like use them a lot because I'm really good with keeping track of my stuff and not losing them or anything. So, but I can definitely see the need and use for AirTags. Now let's see if they actually come out in 2021. The last rumored product to be coming out in 2021 is the Apple Pencil 3rd generation. Now, since the new iPad Air supports the 2nd generation Apple Pencil, they've got to differentiate the new iPad Pros again and give it a new pencil, because if you have that 2nd generation pencil and you have an iPad Pro and you're upgrading to the new iPad Pro, they are going to want you to buy a new pencil. Now, it's rumored that this pencil will have Find My support, which is kind of nice. Even though me personally, with the iPad Pro that I had, I would always have the pencil connected to the iPad. Well, let's say, you know, you put it in your bag or you travel or something and you don't know where it is. It's kind of nice to be able to track it. Now, the coolest change that comes with the Apple Pencil 3rd generation is that it looks like it could come in a black colorway. Now, by black, I'm sure they mean space gray, which I was never a really big fan of a white Apple Pencil because I get like space gray everything and white just kind of sticks out. So I'm glad that it's rumored that a black / like space gray colorway of an Apple Pencil will be coming, hopefully. But that is it, guys. A lot of news here for 2021 potential products. Pretty excited, to be completely honest, because I do need a new MacBook Pro. I need a new iPad Pro. So I will probably wait a little bit in order to get these things, because I was originally thinking, oh, maybe I'll get the M1 MacBook Pro. But with rumors of a 14-inch mini LED MacBook Pro, I'll probably wait a little bit until I get it. Leave a comment down below of what your favorite rumored products are for 2021. And do you think AirTags are actually going to come out? Other than that, guys, if you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Lots more content coming, but for now, I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video.